On April 23, 1951, 16-year-old Barbara Rose Johns decided that she had endured enough. Frustrated with the overcrowding and deplorable conditions for black students at the Russa Moton High School in Farmville, Virginia, Barbara was determined to bring about a change. She organized and led a strike involving the school's entire student body, all 450 students. They were protesting inadequate heating and restroom facilities, dilapidated buildings, and outdated textbooks that had already been used for years in white schools. But on that April morning in 1951, Barbara Johns could not have known where her courage would lead. She could not have known that the strike she organized would give rise to a legal battle that, just 3 years later, would become part of Brown versus Board of Education and help bring an end to legal segregation in America's public schools.
Barbara Rose Johns was born on March 6, 1935, in New York City. Like many African Americans, her parents had moved north seeking work during the Great Depression and the Great Migration. When the family's financial situation failed to improve, the Johns family returned to Prince Edward County, Virginia, where they had deep roots. But those roots offered no protection from the racism they encountered daily. Barbara grew up surrounded by strong leaders, including her aunts and her uncle, the Reverend Vernon Johns. She attended segregated schools in Prince Edward County and saw the stark difference between the education provided to white and black students. White students attended a modern brick school with a cafeteria, gymnasium, science laboratories, and other dedicated facilities. Across town, Barbara and her black classmates attended an overcrowded school where the facilities were inadequate and classrooms could become bitterly cold. Behind the main school stood 3 temporary wooden buildings covered in tar paper, a heavy black material ordinarily used beneath roof shingles. These were not intended to be permanent classrooms. Their only heat came from small pot-bellied stoves, which provided dangerously inadequate and uneven warmth. When it rained, students sometimes sat beneath umbrellas as water leaked through the roofs. The buildings had no restroom facilities. But for many Moton students, these structures became their classrooms. They called them the tar paper shacks. The school's science laboratories were inadequate, and its textbooks had already been used for years in white schools before being handed down to black students. These conditions were especially severe at Robert Russa Moton High School. When black families expressed their frustration, the Prince Edward County School Board ignored them.
This is African American History is American History.
16-year-old Barbara Johns was frustrated and determined to bring about change. Barbara spent months planning a protest with a small group of trusted classmates. And on April 23, 1951, the students used a false message to lure the principal away from the school, then circulated a forged notice calling for immediate mandatory assembly. Once all 450 students had gathered, Barbara took the stage. She revealed the ruse and described the conditions they had been forced to endure: the tar paper shacks, the absence of a cafeteria and gymnasium, and the inadequate science facilities. Barbara convinced the entire student body to walk out. The students marched to the Prince Edward County Courthouse and demanded a new school. When local officials refused to act, the students refused to return to class, beginning a strike that lasted 2 weeks. After a less than encouraging meeting with Superintendent Thomas J. McElwain, the students remained on strike. McElwain insisted that they return to school. Instead, Barbara and fellow organizer Carrie Stokes wrote to the Richmond law firm of Hill, Martin, and Robinson, asking for help. NAACP attorneys Oliver Hill and Spotswood Robinson met with Barbara and the other student organizers. They agreed to represent them, but on one condition. The students must be willing to demand full integration, not merely equal facilities within a segregated school system. They agreed. The resulting lawsuit, Davis v. County School Board of Prince Edward County, was filed on behalf of 117 students. It was later combined with 4 other school desegregation cases before the United States Supreme Court. Together, they became Brown v. Board of Education. Of the 5 cases decided under Brown, Davis was the only one initiated by students. After the strike and the filing of the lawsuit, students and their families faced retaliation and threats of violence. Fearing for Barbara's safety, her parents sent her to Montgomery, Alabama, to live with her uncle, the Reverend Vernon Johns, while she completed her senior year. Barbara was later accepted at Spelman College in Atlanta. There she met William Holland Rowland Powell. Despite their 13-year age difference and her parents' concerns, Barbara married William in 1953. She followed him to Philadelphia when he entered the ministry. The couple raised 5 children, and Barbara Johns Powell worked as a librarian in the Philadelphia public school system for 20 years. In 1979, she earned her bachelor's degree from Drexel University.
This is African American History is American History. Barbara Rose Johns Powell died of bone cancer on September 25, 1991. She rarely spoke about her historic strike or the impact it had on generations of students across the United States. She has been honored through monuments and building dedications and the annual observance of Barbara Johns Day in Virginia. And in 2025, a statue of 16-year-old Barbara Johns was unveiled in the United States Capitol's National Statuary Hall collection, replacing Virginia's statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. In 1951, the future of American education was shaped with the help of one teenager, 450 students, and one unwavering protest. This has been African American History is American History.
I'm Gloria Morgan.
I'm Harlan Kearsley. And on behalf of everyone involved with African American History is American History, thank you for listening.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this program.
Once you do, you'll be notified as soon as new episodes are posted. Thanks again, and please stay safe. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2026.